Hey guys, this is Tara Macklin. I'm hopping in here to talk to you guys about emotional eating and PCOS. And it's because I've ran into some interesting information that I wanted to share and then just kind of talk about my general thoughts on them. And one of the big movements that you're starting to see in, well, diet culture. Um, and that's the University of Penn actually released a study, and this is a few years back, that PCOS women are 5 times more likely to have eating disorder experience at some point along in their journey, especially if they are women that are dealing with things like depression or anxiety. And I wasn't really surprised because I'm like, oh, yeah, that's me. That's totally something that I've been through. Like, I've talked to friends that, and I'm telling you, I am in reforming control freak. Like, I'm someone who likes my towels folded a certain way and likes the dishes done a certain way. So I've been working on getting better at not being that person, being at home and allowing my husband to help me so that way I can reduce my stress levels with my life load of doing the things and having people help me around the house. So I have to then accept the fact that I'm thankful that I didn't have to do it and it was done, and it just wasn't done my way, and that's okay. So to kind of give you that background, I bring that up, and understanding that when I couldn't control the things that I was putting in my mouth, I found it really frustrating. Like craving food and binging food and not understanding why I couldn't control that when I would talk to some of my other female counterparts. Now, none of them had PCOS, so of course we weren't on the same page. And I don't like blaming everything on my PCOS, but it's kind of nice to know that my loss of control isn't just mental weakness. It's literally my body is crying out like a toddler. And then you add the emotional component of being in a sticky situation and you just want all the food. Like, give me all of it. Give me all the things to raise my insulin and all the things to try to satisfy my body. And then I feel good at the time that I'm doing it. And then when I get done, I feel miserable. And then the body shame comes, and which is another common thing amongst PCOS women, is we tend to have this unhealthy relationship with our bodies and the way it looks, and we blame ourselves. And PCOS, again, is not our fault, but also understanding what's going on and being able to slow down and sit back and respond rather than to react to our situation. That's the key. But the problem is that we spend so much time in this diet culture that we've created this unhealthy thing. So I'm very, very careful about when I'm talking to other PCOS women. I tend to not be like, here's the diet plan, go do some keto, or go do this, or go do this. And in fact, my group that is linked below this video, we are going to do a mini series that talks about different diet culture common things that you're seeing, especially amongst PCOS women. So like keto is really big, low carb is really big. There's a couple different other things out there. Intermittent fasting is really big, which I will say I do use, but and I have another video on that, but this will be better because it's going to come with someone who actually has the credentials after their name. So I kind of like that. I'm looking forward to that series in that group. So make sure that you click below and get in on that series, so that way you can find out that information from yourself, from a professional. But I try not to bring up and saying, do this one thing, it's going to solve your problem. Do this. All of us have different PCOS. We all have different relationships with food and our body responses. And obviously, I'm an emotional eater. So being in a diet culture can be a little stressful when you're told no, 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 no all the time, right? Now, I'm a big proponent or supporter of elimination protocols, and that's with the inflammation of my PCOS, finding foods that were inflammatory for me, and not necessarily saying I can never eat pizza again, but recreating the way that I eat pizza has actually created a healthier relationship. So while I can't just run out and go buy Pizza Hut because My body says, yeah, okay, well, you ate Pizza Hut. Here's the repercussions. Here you go. But I can recreate those foods at home, which I know isn't convenient for everyone, but that's just something that happens to work out really well for me because I found an alternative rather than told myself I can never have pizza again. I've recreated the dish so that way I could have pizza again, if it makes sense. So I've learned a new way of doing things, and that's a little bit healthier of an approach. At least that has worked for me mentally. Because otherwise, when you tell me no and I get in a bad situation, I will binge eat the things. Like, I can tell you, I've binged eat some ice cream, and I have binged eaten some, like, I don't know, name it, whatever. And I've probably binged eaten the food and then felt miserable. And then by proxy, have actually made my PCOS symptoms worse because I binge ate. So that's something that we don't want to actually put ourselves in, ladies. So creating a situation where we are definitely more in tune with why we're eating, what we're eating, when we're eating it. The psychological side can be very tricky, and we tend to not take time to pause because we're in such a go, 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 go society these days. So I just wanted to reach out to you guys with some of these things, some food for thought, if you will, about your emotional relationship with food. And especially if you're a PCOS woman, you're not alone. You're not crazy that you get into these moments where you're maybe not eating like the average person. And I hate to say average person because even then food in our society isn't necessarily 100% way that nature intended it to be. So it's all not your fault, and just kind of give yourself some grace, give yourself some love, give yourself some support when you make mistakes. And that is why you're also seeing a big movement into what is called intuitive eating, which, as someone who has foods that are inflammatory for her, I struggle with the intuitive eating from that perspective of just because I'm craving the pizza, it's there in front of me. I also know how my body's going to react to said pizza. So if I eat it, I'm not going to then go crazy and binge eat pizza. This is where I need to learn a little bit more about intuitive eating, which again is why I'm doing the series that I'm doing in my group, because I also have learning to do. But at the end of the day, putting yourself in a lot of denial can actually cause a lot of problems. And I'm definitely understanding of that. So with that said, I hope my ramblings in here have given you some food for thought in this whole vicious cycle of emotional eating that is higher risk in PCOS women. And again, I want you guys to give yourself some grace. So with that said, stay tuned. I'll have more things in here to maybe help you along with some of these things and balancing them out and finding what's going to be best for you. But bear in mind, diets, you got to get yourself mentally in the right state of understanding what you're eating and what you're trying to do before you dive into them. I do find it very challenging just to blanket statement someone and tell them, give up this, give up this, give up this. So if you are also one of those women, like I said, stay tuned. I'll have more information in this channel to come for you guys. So I'll talk to you guys all later. Bye-bye.